Alright, good news, Toyota and Lexus fans. You're getting a front locked Lexus LX700. The first Lexus vehicle to have a front locker. That's right, a front locker available on a Lexus in America. It's real. This is the new Lexus LX700H Overtrail. Yes, a Lexus 700, not 600, 700 Overtrail. Same as the GX550 Overtrail trim, but forget about the GX550 Overtrail. We got a Lexus LX700 Overtrail with a front locker now. The Lexus LX700H is arguably going to be the closest thing we can get here in America to the Land Cruiser 300, the real deal Land Cruiser. Now, I'm not talking about this fake Land Cruiser, the Mick Land Cruiser, or the Costco Cruiser, the fake Land Cruiser 250. I'm not talking about this thing. This isn't a real Land Cruiser. I'm talking about the real deal Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport. This triple locked off-road perfection with front and rear disconnectable sway bars. Can we get this in America? No, we can't. So can we get closer? What's the closest thing to this? Well, for a while it was the GX550 Overtrail. It does have EKDSS, front and rear disconnectable sway bars, and it does have a rear locker, but it is on that Land Cruiser 250 platform that I showed you earlier. It's not on the same exact Land Cruiser 300 platform, and it's missing the front locker and about 60 horsepower from the engine. All of that just changed with the introduction now of this new Lexus LX700H Overtrail. This is it. You can see it has that same Overtrail color. And yes, indeed, this one is triple locked and has way more torque and horsepower. And of course, is a hybrid there. You can see the all-terrain tires. So just like your GX550 Overtrail, this is going to come with beefy 18-inch off-road oriented all-terrain tires, just like the GX550 Overtrail. But again, this thing is front locked and has way more power. And of course that means it's triple locked when I say front locker, because it has a center locker and a rear locker as well. Now, what about the rest of the LX700? What else is new? As mentioned, it's a hybrid. Now, this system is not new. This is what's known on Toyota vehicles on the TNGA platform, TNGF platform, as the Hybrid Max. All that means is down here, sandwiched in between the twin-turbo V6 and the 10-speed transmission, is essentially a motor assist, motor generator, and basically it gives you more torque. It's a torque boost, it's a power boost, and there's a battery pack back here. So the bottom line with all this is just more power than your previous LX600 or your GX550. How much more power? They haven't released the official power figures yet, but it's safe to say it's going to be faster. It's going to have way more torque. So if you're looking for more power than a Land Cruiser 300, the LX700H is it. As far as an off-road SUV that is essentially a Land Cruiser 300, this is faster and more powerful than the flagship Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport. Now, it's not just going to be in the Overtrail trim for the 700H. There's going to be some other trims, of course, such as this luxury or premium trim. We're not going to get into those trims. We're going to stick to the off-road Overtrail trim and talk about that here, because this is what it's about here. These 18-inch wheels on a Lexus LX700 going off-road. I know some people think that's crazy off-roading a Lexus, but they've been ubiquitous on the trails in certain parts of the United States for decades now. They are Land Cruiser Prados, they are Land Cruisers, and they're meant to go off-road. And that's why Toyota and Lexus buyers are going to get the magic button here, the coveted front locker. Oh boy. Any Toyota fanboy or fangirl is salivating over this front locker button. Finally, you get to have it in the United States of America. Now, Lexus is boasting with this Lexus LX700H. Sorry, it's a new model to say. It's going to roll off the tongue a little weird for a while. But anyway, it's going to have an alternator and a starter, even though it's a hybrid. Again, the Toyota Tundra that already has this system and the Sequoia that already has this system, it already has this. What they're trying to say is if you get stuck off-road, like the hybrid system fails off-road, you're still going to have your alternator and starter, so you're still going to be able to move the car if you get stuck in an off-roading situation, even though it's a hybrid. Here Lexus is boasting that it's waterproof, meaning the electrical components, the hybrid battery, and the electronics down here are able to forge a certain amount of water. I believe it's 27 inches water fording depth, and all of this is waterproof. You don't have to worry about shorting out the electronics. Again, the whole point of this is Lexus is reiterating that go ahead, take this off-road. It's a Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport. Matter of fact, it's faster and more powerful than a Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport. So have fun with it off-road. It's waterproof. Now, as many of you know, all these trucks, every Toyota truck and SUV is on the TNGAF platform, but they are not all identical. The frames are similar and similar size, but the GX550 frame is thinner and lighter than the Land Cruiser 300 frame, and it is thinner and lighter than this LX700H frame. They've added 2 extra cross members, one here in the center and one towards the rear, to support the extra weight of the hybrid system. So there's 2 extra cross members added to this already beefy, legendary off-roading frame. Now I'm zoomed in real close here. Now this is the difference between a GX550 Overtrail frame and this new Lexus LX700H frame. Right here where the mouse is frame-mounted bump stop number 1, right here. And over here is frame-mounted bump stop number 2. The GX550 only has one of these, and the Land Cruiser 250, aka the MIC Land Cruiser, the American Land Cruiser, also only has one. The Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport has these 2. As you see, your Lexus LX600 also has 2, and this again is the frame of the Lexus LX700. So it gets 2 bump stops here. My point of this rambling, if you didn't get it, is this is the real deal down here. Your GX550, even though it looks all the similar on the outside, and they're saying T and GAF, there's differences here. These 2 frame-mounted bump stops are unique to only the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport, the LX600, and now the LX700. Alright, moving on to the inside of the Lexus LX700. Lexus is calling this the Electro Shift-Matic. I know that's a weird name. But this is their new, essentially, shifter. So it's electronic. And here's the important part for those of you who are going to off-road or overland this vehicle. Lexus claims that they consulted with their off-roading experts. So when you are off-roading, and anybody who off-roads anything in the Land Cruiser family knows that you're playing around with this shifter when you're in low range to go really slow, first gear, low range, second gear, low range, etc. When you're crawling, going slow. And they've designed this new shifter around off-roading. So it's not a gimmick. It's meant for you to do those little shifts and adjustments when you're off-roading easier. And we use this shifter on our GX460 aka Land Cruiser Prado all the time. So it's nice to see that Lexus is acknowledging the usefulness of this and improving upon its concept. Now down here you can see MTS. You're going to get all the MTS. You're going to get downhill assist. You're going to get all the off-road ABS controls or traction controls. You're also going to get drive modes, and you're going to get AVS modes. This has adaptive variable suspension by KYB, and that's also been tweaked. In other words, the AVS system, adaptive variable suspension, has been updated for the LX700. And down here is the center locker button. Again, this is triple locked, front, center, and rear. And don't hold your breath, but over here by the steering wheel, it looks like it's partially wood, so maybe we'll get some real wood back, just like this wood down here. Maybe we'll get that classic Lexus GX460 or classic Lexus wood steering wheel that was missing on the new GX550 Overtrail. All right, let's talk about AVS here for a minute. Now, this is the real deal. Your Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport and your GX550 comes with AVS. These are KYB adjustable shock absorbers. High quality, the best Japanese shocks. You don't need to get aftermarket shocks on a Land Cruiser product. You already have aftermarket shocks because they come with KYBs. These have electronic valves in them, and what Lexus is basically saying for the LX600, they've tweaked and redesigned the various valving inside of the shock absorbers here, the adjustable shock absorbers, to basically make stuff better when you're off-road. These are the real deal. They are not a gimmick. All right, so the Overtrail product, yes, it's project. It's real. They're going all in, Lexus, with this Overtrail stuff, which is good news for people who like to overland and or off-road their Lexus. You're getting some new colors, basically, Moon Desert, and they'll be released soon, pictures of them. We got some new interior stuff, but the important stuff is this. This is what you want to know about. The front and rear differential lock on the Overtrail of the LX700. You're getting it, along with your 18-inch tires down here, and Lexus dropped the ball. This is not all good news, Toyota fanboys and fangirls. I can't believe this. You're not going to believe it. Toyota, or I should say Lexus, put on the front locker on this LX700, but they did not bring over EKDSS. If you don't know what that is, that's the front and rear hydraulically disconnectable sway bars that the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport has. So bottom line, this new Lexus LX700 Overtrail is not going to have disconnectable sway bars, and that is a fail by Lexus. So why on earth Lexus would bring this 700, a LX700H with a front locker and a center locker and a rear locker and 18-inch wheels and all the MTS and traction control goodies inside of here and everything, and it's fully loaded everywhere else, and then omit the EKDSS front and rear disconnecting sway bars? Why, Lexus? Why don't you understand your market? I do not grasp this. I get not bringing front and rear disconnectable sway bars, EKDSS, in the luxury model or trim or the premium trim or other trims, but this is the Overtrail trim. You put a front locker. You put a front locker on this thing. Finally. And then someone somewhere made an executive decision. Give them the rear locker, give them the center locker, give them the front locker, give them everything else, all the traction control systems. And that EKDSS that we just have, that just could just fit right in here. Let's not do that. And so it boggles the mind why. I can't even articulate. Hey, there's a pun. I'm at a loss for words. How Toyota has EKDSS already sitting there, already on their flagship Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport, which we're looking at here, articulating away, giving maximum articulation off-road and awesome firm, super thick sway bars for awesome on-road control, and then they just, they're giving us this loaded LX700 now, all this power, front locker, and then they're not going to include this. Lexus, you've got to get it together. You're missing the mark here. in this price range, I'm just going to tell you straight up. In this price range, if people are shopping for LX700s, they want it all. Whether they're going to off-road or not, they want it all. If they don't get it all, they're going to cross-shop and they're going to go to other brands, Mercedes, G-Wagon, whatever, Nissan with their new Patrol coming out, etc., in order to get all these features. So why they didn't put this on the LX700 is beyond me. So in a nutshell, the Lexus LX700 is faster. It is more powerful. And it is a Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport with more luxury, more power. It has that front locker, but it doesn't have the disconnectable sway bars. So is it a hit? Is it a miss? Is it just bizarre? Does it even matter? Does anybody care? That's up for you to decide. But I would have liked to see on the overtrail trim down here, again, that super awesome front and rear disconnectable sway bar. Keep in mind, KDSS is on the GX460. It was on the GX470, the predecessor of the GX460. It's been around forever. They just need to glue it on this thing and sell it in America. Now, is it too early in the game in other words, so I'm rambling here, but can Lexus change their mind here and shove EKDSS back on this thing? Who knows? But they probably have their reasons for all this, whatever those are. I can't tell if they omitted the third row, for instance, here. I hope they added the third row on the overtrail, but I'm sure they didn't. So that's another strike in my book, because a foldable third row in an LX600 is totally what one should expect. Again, these are rambles. It's up to the buyer to consider if this is good or bad. Most people are going to be excited about the front locker, but those who are quote-unquote true off-roaders, more than a front locker, they're going to want that articulation more than anything. EKDSS and KDSS is out of this world. There's nothing like it to be able to disconnect those sway bars front and rear and articulate off-road and then have them come back on when you're on-road. And there's nothing like it. Nothing out there like it. It's patented by Toyota. It's a Toyota exclusive. But if I was to venture an intelligent guess, we all know how this is going to play out. This is going to be the first year model, 2025 or whatever, this LX600. They're not going to give you EKDSS. And guess what's going to, or the third row. And guess what's going to happen next year or in the year after? They're going to throw in EKDSS in a future model refresh or upgrade, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. The point is, they're going to throw EKDSS in this thing down the line, and they're going to give third row as an option. And yes, I mean option when I'm whining about the third row. I know people are like, I don't need the third row, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying as an option. Allow the buyer to spend a few $1,000s and pay for the third row. Those that don't want it don't have to have it. Heck, even throw EKDSS as an option. But we know how Lexus is doing here. They know what they're doing. They're playing games. And I guarantee you, in a year or two, you're going to see this thing finally be the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport once they give us everything that vehicle has.